All right. This is scary. I know no one is watching this YouTube channel yet, which is my only saving grace, the only reason I'm doing this. But in order to challenge myself, in order to show up and just do the thing, even though I'm scared, um, this is me trying that. It's a new experiment. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but probably expat coaches hanging out or the expat coach hangout. If anyone has any ideas, put them in the comments so that we can give this baby a cool name. But the idea is for me to show up on video regularly, to learn how to talk to the camera, and also impart some of my experiences. I don't want to call it wisdom, but whatever. And I have connected with Thais Silva, who's a great friend, a good business buddy of mine, and also an expat coach. And she has graciously agreed to try this crazy thing and be my first guinea pig. So this is us doing that. Welcome, Thais. I am very nervous. I don't know about you, but I am extremely nervous, but we won't let that stop us, right?
Hi, Julie. Thank you. Thank you so much for the great introduction, by the way. Very nice. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and to learn a bit from your experience, but also share a bit of my experience as an expat coach. I'm looking forward.
All right. Well, let's get started. I thought for this first meeting, we could just start with a super broad, but I feel very important topic of career and business, because
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but when most of my clients first start working with me, that is in one way or another, that topic always comes up.
Hmm.
It's either they are looking, okay, how do I find, for me, it's people coming to China, right? I know that for you, it's Brazilians moving to Europe or other people moving in Europe. Those are more your target audience. But it's always, I was a certain person before with most likely a job and an established identity. And then I am moving to this new country. And all of a sudden, I have to reinvent everything. I have to figure out, am I going to be a parent only? Am I going to be a working parent? Am I going to pivot in my career? Am I going to maybe start freelancing, start a portable business? Am I going to be an entrepreneur in China or in whichever country I am in? And since you've done that all, not all of it, not the China part, but you've done the starting your business part and being an accompanying partner, I thought it would be nice for us to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the points that you mentioned because I can truly say that I've been through all of those questions, and also with my clients, I note that they also have those questions when they are moving from all the way from Brazil or maybe from sometimes from different continents, sometimes within the continent, but you always face some readaptation, right? Like some adaptation to the new country. And depending on the reasons why you came to that country, then there is a set of questions that get released and some reflection and questioning. So let's dive into those questions and I let's
Sounds good.
explore it.
Well, I know that for me, when I moved to China, semi-permanently in
Mhm.
2014, I was the accompanying spouse, right? And this was the first time, it was not my first time abroad, but it was my first time moving to somebody else's schedule. And for me, I was a mess before moving because I was like, I need to work, I need to find a job, I need to do this, I need to do that. So there was a lot of shoulds in the back of my mind. And that led me to, I did find a job before I even moved. And I was also still doing my old job in Germany at the time and part-time. And then so I got into this huge mess that ended in a burnout, and it ended in me completely reprioritizing my life.
Mhm.
And at the time, I did not have a coach, which made it really hard. But I don't know, how was it? What was it like for you when you came to the Netherlands first?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to hear your story. For me, it started with me being 22 years old and just finishing college and moving. It was like my dream to move abroad. So um, Also, I had a Brazilian partner at the time, and he got also a job opportunity. So I was the accompanying spouse as well.
Yeah.
But I was very excited at first because it was for me a dream come true. Yeah, a few months I was enjoying and was taking some time off to relax because, especially after college, and in Brazil, we normally work and study at the same time. So it was very intense. And I was happy to take some time off and enjoy the new country. But after some time, you are rested and you are ready to go back to action. And then it came the challenging part because I didn't know how to reuse my skills. I was still not confident in my communication in English, and Dutch was non-existent. So uh, I think it shut down like my voice, and I couldn't find my confidence. So for me, that was also the biggest struggle. And also, I wasn't familiar with coaching back then, so I was just navigating those challenges on my own. And I remember that at some time I was really feeling down, and my partner wrote an email to the expat center because back then the expat center helped with his visa process, with our visa process. And then he wrote to them saying, "Hey, look, I've been here for, I don't know, a few months here, and I came with my spouse, but she doesn't have any support, and we don't know what direction to go and how to navigate it for her." We never got a reply from the expat center.
Encouraging, huh? Because I mean, that's what they're supposed to be there for.
Yeah. So back then there was no support for the spouse. It was just the support for the working partner, the
Partner.
working person. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's with my clients, it depends. I mean, if they're already my clients, it shows that there's some support for the partner, right? But even there, I find that it's different in the companies that hire me. There is a very large range from what they offer. So I have some contracts where they're saying, oh, we're giving you 5 hours with a coach, and it can be anything. And so 5 hours barely scratches the surface. And also the spouses are, they don't even know where to start, right? And many will sort of waste their hours, not waste, because obviously if that's what they need at this point, then that's what they need. But it focuses on, how do I navigate life, right? What do I do? Where do I find language classes? How do I go in China? Everything is a problem because it's going shopping is this like, why don't they use cash? What's wrong with these people? Like, where's the money? Why doesn't anyone have websites? Why can't I find any information? How am I supposed to, you say it's in WeChat groups, but I'm not in those WeChat groups. What am I going to do? So there's a lot of frustrations, and oftentimes those 5 hours are really not enough. And they are also, they're not at all targeted. And then there's others where you have a 15-hour program where it's already, they sort of parse people out. They're saying, figure out what you want to do. And if you're saying it's career support, then you're going to get those 15 hours geared towards where you want to go. So that's much better. And of course, if people hire me on a B2C basis, if they take the Thrive in China package, then that's all of that is taken care of because we have all of it. Like we have all those options. And the first few sessions are for people to set a direction. And then we have a lot of supporting resources to help them get to that goal that they're setting for themselves. But yeah, I get it. If there's no, you feel alone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and luckily, like you said, there is now the support that comes from some companies. So, and also I noticed there are some expat centers that now they have some spouse program. So I can see the progress, and I'm really happy to see those initiatives available. And also one thing I'm curious to know your perception on it, because you're mentioning, right, that sometimes people will waste their sessions. And I also noticed that with some clients that they get the benefit, but they never heard about life coaching and they don't know what they can use it for. So normally when we have a first session, they tell me they don't need it. And then I notice with some clients that they will come back after a while to use their package because now they are starting to struggle. And I wonder, like, in your experience, how much time do you think the person needs if they move without that support to realize that or to start struggling and needing a coach?
Um, I'm going to give you a consultant response, which is it depends. But what does it depend on? I can also tell you that. So there are people who are already very self-aware and
Mhm.
very driven and very much already on a trajectory. And I see that a lot with my private clients, right? If
Mhm.
somebody is willing to pay money to start on that journey, then they see the benefits to it. And that's when you work with companies, and that's sort of a benefit that is given. You get more of those clients who are lost and who are just like,
Mhm.
no, I'm fine. I'll be okay. I don't need you. And then they come back after 3 months, after 6 months, after sometimes a year. And I find that very sad because they're trying to DIY it for that stretch of time, for this amount of
Mhm.
time. And they are losing out on a lot of, it's not efficient. And a lot of people have to be really miserable before they start using that free
Mhm.
service. And with clients who pay for it, all of this education happens before they even start paying money, right? So they
Mhm.
come better prepared very often. But generally, I would say anywhere between 3 months to a year to where people wise up and say, hey, this is support I could really use.
Yeah.
And this is also where sometimes I wish that people would know before they even move,
Mhm.
because I also have those clients. But again, that is mostly the private clients. In the B2B clients, it's only people who are personality-wise already very proactive, sometimes also a little mm, too much in their head because they
Mhm.
plan and they are very risk aware and they want to make sure that they have everything figured out before they go, which is the other extreme, right? And uh, but that's the beauty of coaching. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Like, we meet our clients where they are, right? So it's just the way that we're going to phrase our questions and the way that we are going to offer them different perspectives that works at any stage. So that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's a great point, right? When we choose to work with our clients, we cannot choose which point to start. So we are jumping on the train, and wherever they are, we are there ready to accompany them if they are in the beginning, when they are still trying to find out who they are and what's possible, but also in the part when they already know where they want to go and who they are, that we can then just give them the support to go even further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's from a personal standpoint, I sometimes grieve that a little bit because I'm like, oh, just get out of your way. Like, you could go so far if only. But of course, as a coach, once you have that coach hat on, you meet the client where they are, right? It's not my job to educate, it's not my job to influence, it's not my job to steer anyone in any direction, because I'm not a fixer. And
Mhm.
also, I don't know what the ideal outcome is. Only the client knows what the ideal outcome is, which
Yeah.
takes more work on their part. And also, which is hard for me sometimes because I'm like, "Oh, just, just come on. I know it could be awesome, but
Mhm.
but no,
Yeah.
I'm working on myself, and I think I have it down to a level where I can be detached enough that I'm not hurting anyone in any one direction.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of self-management, right? As a coach, that you um, sometimes we can see what's on the way, but we need to manage ourselves because we cannot just give it away. We need to help the client to get to that conclusion by themselves, so So
Because
it's more
that to me, that's the
impactful.
power. Exactly. I was going to say, that's exactly what I mean. It's coaching only works when it is self-driven. It doesn't, that's the big difference, right? People can tell you the right thing 1,000 times and it doesn't land. But with coaching, you're the one going, oh, this is what people have been
Mhm.
telling me. Now I get it.
Yeah,
And
those
that's
aha
when you, the
moments
aha
are.
moments, the famous aha moments. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. So when it comes to career and business, what would you say are the top three directions that clients go in typically from your experience?
Mhm. Um, that's a good point, a good question. And I am trying to narrow down at three because I haven't thought about that before. Um, so what happens very often if they come as a accompanying a spouse, right? They come, sometimes people, they already have a career that they love, and they have a lot of years of experience. And for them, it's very challenging if they have to start from scratch
Yep.
because
I am
what
thinking lawyers. I am thinking anyone in like
dentist, like in
dentist,
the
yes, in the medical field,
medical
in the
field,
insurance field, or like taxes,
yeah,
bookkeepers, all of those where it's very country specific. Agreed.
yeah, they have a very long journey.
Mm.
And I think in my experience in the Netherlands, for those fields, speaking English is not enough. You need to speak the local language
Yes.
plus English because you will, of course, be exposed to it. So it can take a while until you develop the skills and you can prepare yourself. And I think the challenge there is for the people to not lose hope. No, like there is a long way because it can be very disappointing when they realize that I've been this far in my career and now I have to go back from the beginning. So that there is a lot of work with the mindset and helping them focus on the good side and the good experiences that this move is offering instead of focusing on how much back they went on their careers. So I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest
But for
challenge.
me, yeah, for me, I see this a lot with clients because even if you get to work in your field, chances are you will have to take a demotion or you're going to have to take a pay cut or something, right? You usually have to bring sacrifices even if you continue to do what you used to do. But
Mhm.
yeah, okay, so that's one, established career and now having to realizing that you can't do the job that you have been doing for years or even decades. Okay. What would be another
Mhm.
one that you see often?
Yeah, I think also there is the people that don't want to do their job anymore. So that is an opportunity to start something new.
I love those
Uh,
clients. I'm always like I'm not supposed to show it obviously, but internally I'm like, oh yes, we get to
yes.
go on a discovery tour. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. And especially in my opinion, I feel like sometimes when we are in our home country, life just unfolds in a way that sometimes you're not fully aware or consciously choosing things for yourself.
Mhm.
Sometimes the parents, they influence on what you choose to study, what do you do for your work. Sometimes, like some people, maybe their parents have a company and they are working on their
Mhm.
company. So sometimes I feel that people are not fully in control of what they choose.
Yeah,
They end up in a career that maybe they didn't consciously chose. So that is a moment when they can step out and then say, okay, what is it that I want to do without
agree.
any influencing my
And
decision?
this is where I see the hugest, is that even a word? The biggest changes and the biggest transformations is when people are using that time to figure out what it is they actually want. And I've had a very recent example of somebody who has been going through this process of, I know I want to study, I know I want to use my time in China here right now to go in a different direction, but now what do I choose? And this is somebody who is very organized and who's very conscious of the pros and cons of everything. And she was having a very tough time, but we managed to bring her inner feelings into it as well. So it was like, it was her head and her heart being at war. And it was fascinating to observe, but also it's so gratifying to see when that decision is made and the client feels that they chose exactly the right thing for both the head and the heart, right? Like to be able to marry those two perspectives. I think that is amazing. And another one that I always love to talk about is a former client of mine who was a lawyer for 20 years and then used their time in China to completely change tracks and started being a fitness instructor and is now an online fitness instructor. So something that's portable and is on their, I want to say, second expat assignment post China already and has been taking that career with them. So I think that's just, yeah, that's so amazing
Yeah.
to witness that. Yeah.
Yeah, that freedom, right? That and I think also the culture where you are also that has a big impact because you can be judged a lot by you are a lawyer and then you change to become a fitness instructor. So there is so much expectation from others that you have to be willing to face and disappoint maybe some people
Yeah.
and even ourselves, right? Because sometimes we have this image of what is a fulfilled career, and then we need to deconstruct that and then rethink all of that aside. What is it that is really deeply important to me, and that I feel that I will have more impact on people's lives and or in my own life, right? So
Agreed. And this was, so I've seen it both ways, right? I've seen my parents always wanted me to be, that I see that a lot with Southeast Asian clients more, I would say, where it's, well, in Vietnam, you're either supposed to be a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer, right? Those are the three choices. That's it, no more. And so they choose the one that they agree with the most. And then realize that maybe that's not their heart's desire. But I've also seen the opposite, where it was women don't go to university. And so somebody who is pushing to choose that they, or to prove that they can, and then they realize they did it mostly out of opposition to what society was saying. And that is that's heartbreaking in a way because they're amazing and they're really good at their job. And to then figure out that, yes, even though I am doing such a good job, but it doesn't fulfill me. And it's not, I chose it for the wrong reasons. So
yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, I completely agree. We could go hours and hours about this topic, really.
Yes. So that's the second one, right? This is like
Yeah.
a huge career shift because people realize that actually what I want to do is something different. Is there a third one that you would say shows up a lot or you find especially fascinating? I don't know.
Yeah. Both fascinating and and shows up a lot. I think there is also the partner, and I'm just talking about the partner, right? Moving, that moves with their spouse has a job and they don't need to worry about money. So they can choose what they do with their time. They don't need to go back to work. But in my opinion, we have this concept of work as something that brings us fulfillment and brings us like a sense of worth that you are contributing to something. And very often those partners that they don't need to work, they still want to. And then they are struggling also to find then what is it that I can do? Because especially when you are struggling in the beginning to reposition yourself in that a foreign market. And I heard that many times as well from the clients and in my own experience. Use this time to do a hobby, something you love. It, it's
I'm
not what
laughing.
they want to do.
I'm laughing because we need purpose, right? We
Yeah.
need purpose. And so I have clients who have decided to not pursue a job, a vocation, whatever that means. But all of the ones who are fulfilled, they have a reason, like there's a why behind what they do, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where like the starting an NGO from scratch thing comes from, or the I am turning what used to be a hobby, but I want to turn that into something that brings value, right? Or I want to support somebody else. I want to be a mentor. I want to, so all of them have, or I want to start something in this place. I mean, I've lived for over 10 years in a tier 2. They say they're tier 1, but they're really tier 2 city in China, where a lot of things simply don't exist, right? It's not a Shanghai, it's not a Beijing, it's not, and all those things that are just part of like the international part of that Chinese city don't exist. And so people are like, but they should, so I'm going to start it. Like I have a former
Yeah.
client who started I don't even know how to call that, an art appreciation club, I suppose. So organize visits to galleries, invited artists to share their thought process behind creating that art, connected with the local art scene and connected with Chinese who were then helping because they didn't speak Chinese, but they were super, super interested in art and they were super interested in the culture. And so they were like, okay, I want to learn and I want to also bring others to this appreciation. And this was not a paid position, but boy, did they make an impact, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that are when you find something that makes impact in your life and in others, brings people together, it doesn't need to be you don't need to be paid for it, right? If it brings you that pleasure. But I think it's also like a deconstruction of those limiting beliefs because I feel like as society, we learn to attach our value to earning money.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that can be really like heavy, especially for women. Now we are expected to be more active in the household with helping with the expenses. So you feel sometimes that your worth comes from earning the capacity of earning that money and contributing to the family expenses. So there is also a limiting belief that needs to be worked. But if the people are able, like you said, to be driven and action takers, they can build something much more meaningful and impactful. Yeah.
Well, and I know I said 3, but this is the 4th one that shows up for my clients a lot is when both partners work and but one is the real expat and one is the local expat. And I've had like one of the most heartbreaking examples was where both partners did the exact same job at the exact same company, but one was on an expat contract and one was on a local contract. And same number of years of experience, same, like really doing the same job, and one was paid 5 times as much as the other. And then, yes, there is finding value through other means, but it just feels super wrong, right? It just feels super devaluing. Like, of course, I'm going to attach my worth to, I'm doing the same job as this person and I'm earning a fifth. Like, that's awful, right?
Yeah.
There's that. And then there's also, because everyone knows that local contracts are paid a lot less. So when both partners are working, at almost every first meeting with somebody else, people will be like, oh, well, who of you is the real expat? Meaning, who of you is earning the big bucks? I've had this show up so often, and I don't know why. Maybe some of my clients just live in very toxic environments.
Yeah.
But my heart breaks for them because
Yeah.
how awful, right? To be like,
Yeah.
I'm there, I'm putting in the work, I am, and then people are like, you're not the real expat, so you're worthless. Not worthless, but worth less than the other.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah. Yeah. And interesting. I could think about a few more situations, but I like how we are moving into that part of the society, right? How when you are then involved in society and starting to be part of it, how much there is that maybe bias or prejudice. Because to be honest, if I look back in my experience as well, um, I moved because my partner had the job,
Mm.
right? So for me, you go to this place where you are trying to figure out your place. You don't know your value. I was still attached that
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say,
bringing the
you
con.
22. I mean,
I
you were a
was
kid, were
21.
a baby.
Yeah,
And that's, I mean, that's when you're
it's
still,
yeah,
your brain is barely formed, right? Like
yeah,
people say that our brains develop until 21 and then they're sort of set.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that must have been doubly hard because you
Yeah, and
are,
especially 22, and I was moving to another country for my partner for his job. So every time I met someone and they asked, "Why are you here?" Because people, and especially in maybe Germany, the Netherlands, where people are very direct, they
yeah.
ask you, "Why are you here?" And then you have to say, "Oh, because of my partner's job." That feels so diminishing and so.
Mhm.
So a lot of times I just felt so bad because it didn't feel like it was my accomplishment. It just felt I'm there because of someone else. And especially when you're then facing the other challenges to find your place in that new country, those questions they can have a lot of impact.
Definitely. But it sounds like that would be, maybe that should be our next topic.
Yeah.
This whole like identity, right? Who am I in this new place? Because that goes away a little bit from career and business. But
Mhm.
I don't know. How do you feel about this? Are we good for today? I feel like this was a good trial run.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a start, and I think we are both a bit geek about this topic, so we could go hours
Definitely.
and
Oh yes.
hours.
For sure. Well, yeah, let's call it a wrap for today, I think. And let's
Hmm.
see, maybe next week, in a couple of weeks, whenever we can start again. I thank you so much for sharing your time. And
My pleasure.
let's see where this journey, this experiment of we still don't know what we're calling it, right? The expat coaches hangout, whatever this is going to be. Let's see where that takes us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for having me.